Let monks come. I want monks to come. Buddhist Books Podcast, episode 234, Tipiṭaka, part 154, in which I will continue reading aloud the Tipiṭaka, specifically Mahāvagga III. This is Mahāvagga III, part 2. If you would like to start at the beginning of the Tipiṭaka, there's the Tipiṭaka playlist, which starts at the very beginning of the Tipiṭaka, and you can look at all 154 so far episodes there, and choose the one that you would like to watch, or you can start at the beginning, or you can just continue watching this one. It's up to you. Here's the playlist. Almost pointed to the wrong corner there. All right. I hope everybody's having a wonderful Thursday. Yes. Today is Thursday, August 1st. It's a new month. Time to turn over a new leaf and recommit ourselves to daily meditation. So go ahead and turn this off and do your meditation. All right, now that I'm alone, I will read this aloud to myself. Just a reminder, I have not read this before. I am not a teacher. I'm a fellow student, and I am not going to... I think what it is of the thousands of rules of pre-sectarian early Buddhism, sometimes someone who is a teacher, who has been studying these things for their whole life and learned them and discussed them with other teachers from a lineage and all this kind of thing, will cherry pick like 10 of the thousands of rules that have an interpretation that's been developed over the centuries, probably, if not at least over a few years or decades, and then read the rule and tell you what it means and interpret it for you. That's not what I'm doing. I'm just reading this. This is all new to me. And much of it is like, when a monk is on his way to a meeting and he's going to run late, then what should he do? And it's like, if he can get there safely on time, then he should do that. Otherwise, he should go the next day. It's like, yeah, okay, that's good to know, but I'm not going to pretend that it has some kind of, or that I am aware of some kind of deeper meaning for you that you can apply in your life today. Much of this is just for historical interest. If you would like to know what it was like in Lord Buddha's Sangha 2,600 years ago, if you are a sentimental fool like I am, and you love the teachings of Lord Buddha so much that you miss the point and become attached to the idea of them and attached to the idea of Lord Buddha, which of course Lord Buddha would be against, right? And you want to know what it was like back there in ancient Bihar, Megad, they called it at the time, wandering around with these monks, and how the rules got first established, and visualize it, and if it kind of gives you a warm feeling in your heart to learn about these things, then yeah, welcome. Me too. That's what I'm doing. However, if you would like the quickest possible way to enlightenment, then turn off your phone right now and meditate. I'm not joking. Continuing where we left off last time. Now at that time, a certain monk came to be ill. He sent a messenger to monks, saying, quote, I now am ill. Let monks come. I want monks to come. End quote. They told this matter to the Lord. He said, quote, I allow you, monks, to go even if not sent for, all the more if sent for, and if the business can be done in 7 days, to 5 parentheses, classes of people, end parentheses, to a monk, to a nun, to a probationer, a novice, a woman novice. Is a probationer gender neutral? Anyway, I allow you, monks, to go to these 5 parentheses, classes of people, end parentheses, even if not sent for, all the more if sent for, and if the business can be done in 7 days. The return should be made in 7 days. Now, based on the context and, kind of having gotten familiar with the flow of this particular 1930s British English translation of the original Pali, I think he means if someone is sick. Because at the very beginning it said he was ill, and he said, I want monks to come. And he said, oh, you can. There were a lot of rules before about, okay, you can go, but only if you're sent for these reasons. If somebody wants to show you their new porch, they're like, I really want the monks to come because I have a new porch. He says, okay, if you're sent for, you may go, but only for 7 days. Now he's saying you may go even if not sent for, if someone's ill, right? It seems to be the meaning. Okay. This is a case, now he's going to give an example of a case that may come up. This is a case, monks, where a monk comes to be ill. If he should send a messenger to monks, saying, quote within quotes, I now am ill, let monks come. I want monks to come. And quote within quotes, you should go, monks, even if not sent for, all the more if sent for, and if the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote within quotes, I will look about for a meal for the invalid, or I will look about for a meal for the one who is tending the invalid, or I will look about for medicine for the invalid, or I will ask, parentheses after, end parentheses, him, or I will tend him, end quote, then quotes. The return should be made in 7 days. Now, just to remind you, if you don't remember the previous episode or the one before that, the previous episode, this is specifically about the rains. The whole thing about the return must be made in 7 days, that's if it's raining. That's if you've taken shelter from the rainy season, which is June, July, and August a little bit. I mean, for them it was 3 months, and it started with the first month that was June or July. So June, July, August, end of June, July, August, beginning of September. And this, as I mentioned before, is August 1st, which is why, and I'm in India, if you didn't know, which is why you can you hear it? That's the rains, the very same rains he's talking about. And before, for those of you who don't know, my wife is Indian and I've settled here in India. I've been here 6 years. But when I first came here, I had no intention of leaving. I wanted to settle in the land where Lord Buddha walked. For, among other reasons, I wanted to experience the rains that they talk about in the stories of Lord Buddha. And you vicariously get to experience it with me because the microphone is rude. Okay, I'll just keep reading, shall I? Sorry, sometimes I go off on tangents. This is a case, monks, where dissatisfaction comes to have arisen in a monk. He's starting to think, why did I become a monk? I saw this video, well, I saw parts of it, this video recently where someone was, a tourist was going around in Dharamshala asking monks questions. If you had any advice for your younger self, what would it be? And one of them was, don't become a monk. So we're talking about that. Monks who were like, oh, what have I done? Oh, there's no such thing as enlightenment. Oh, this is all just BS. I'm in a cult. Whatever. You, without even being sent for, I bet he's going to say, you can go tend to the flock, as it were. He wouldn't use those terms, but in my younger years. Anyway, this is a case, monks, where dissatisfaction comes to have arisen in a monk. If he should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, dissatisfaction has arisen in me, let monks come. I want monks to come. And, quote within quotes, you should go, monks, even if not sent for, all the more if sent for. And if the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote, I will allay his dissatisfaction, or get, parentheses, someone, and parentheses, to allay it, or I will give him a talk on Dhamma, end quote within quotes. The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where remorse comes to have arisen in a monk. If he should send a messenger to monks, saying, quote within quotes, remorse has arisen in me, let monks come. I want monks to come. All right. There was actually 3 dots involved, but I wanted that to be the opening of the episode. Anyway, sorry. Quote within quotes. You should go, monks, 3 dots, Polytech Society. Thank you, Polytech Society. Polytech Society's started to get a little lazy. They're like, yeah, these paragraphs are just basically the same. So we're going to shorten them by putting 3 dots in place of phrases and words. So we'll just have to remember what it said before. Polytech Society likes to put obstacles where there were none and make it a little more difficult to learn what the pre-sectarian early Buddhist scriptures said. Thank you, Polytech Society. Sincerely, thank you. And also, I'm just saying, you can be grateful and annoyed at the same time. Come on. Think of your parents. Right? Anyway, 3 dots, you should go, monks, 3 dots. If the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote within quotes, I will dispel his remorse, or get, parentheses, someone in parentheses to dispel it, or I will give him a talk on Dhamma, and, quote within quotes, if you know what I mean. I don't know, it just sounds like it could be like a euphemism for like having someone whacked, like in, I'm totally joking right now, so just to be clear, I don't intend any disrespect toward the scriptures, as I've mentioned and as has become clear right now. I love this stuff. But in the Mafia movies, especially the Godfather series, when Vito Corleone says, I'll make him an offer he can't refuse. Apparently that was a line improvised by Marlon Brando, but the director loved it. And of course, make him an offer he can't refuse means like cutting off the head of his horse and having the guy wake up, or something like that, So he's like, okay, I'll put this actor in my movie, or whatever it is he's trying to make the offer that he can't refuse. In the flashbacks in Godfather II, when he was young, Robert De Niro, right, played young Vito Corleone, and he just meant he's going to shoot him. He said, I'm going to make him an offer he can't refuse, and he went and shot the guy. Anyway, so I'm going to give him a talk on Dhamma. That'll cure his remorse. I'm sure he just means give him a talk on Dhamma, which for those who are confused, that's Dharma. Tipiṭaka is Sanskrit. Dharma is Sanskrit. Tipiṭaka is Pali. Dhamma is Pali. The Pali came first. Then it was translated into Sanskrit so that it could be spread more widely because more people spoke Sanskrit at the time. I'll get back to the reading. Sorry, I'm a little airy today. Yes, the return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, the rain is increasing, where a wrong view comes to have arisen in a monk. If he should send 3 dots, you receive it and be like, what are these? The monk sent 3 dots. What does it mean? Be like, I don't know. We'll just have to remember what last time you received a note. What did it say? Oh, God, that was so long ago. These episodes don't come out often enough. I've forgotten what it said. Well, 3 dots. Who knows? Maybe he needs help or something. Sorry. If he should send 3 dots, if the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote within quotes, I will dissuade him from the wrong view, or get, parentheses, someone, end parentheses, to dissuade him, or I will give him a talk on Dhamma. And, quote within quotes, the return should be made in 7 days. I remember hearing about, I have this book called The 14 Dalai Lamas, which I will read eventually. Maybe once we finish every 10 episodes, we read The Life and Liberation of Padmasambhava. That's probably going to go on for another couple of years at least. But yeah, maybe we'll shift over to the 14. But it's like a modern book. It's not scripture. I like to read scripture that's been translated into English, where this is like a research, like a big, thick research thing. But I remember hearing something about, I don't know which one it was, the 6th, 7th, one of the Dalai Lamas was dealing with a sect that had arisen that believed that the only reality, that everything was illusion, except for the only reality was that place of light that you experience when you're deep in meditation. And let me tell you, he sent some people to give them a talk on Dhamma, if you know what I'm saying. They weren't around after that particular talk on Dhamma, if you know what I'm saying. Things were a little different back then. Now people think Dalai Lama, they think, oh, very peaceful. There were, in previous centuries, it was sometimes he got a little rough. All right. Sorry. I'll stick to the reading. Sorry. This rain is great, though. Where were we? The wrong view. Yes, talk on Dhamma. The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a monk comes to have committed an offense against an important rule and to deserve probation. Usually that's when he intentionally emitted something from his body. Anyway, if he should send a messenger to monks, saying, quote unquote, I have committed an offense against an important rule. I deserve probation. Let the monks come. I want the monks to come. And quote unquote, you should go, monks, even if not sent for, all the more if sent for. And if the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote within quotes, I will make an effort for placing parentheses him and parentheses on probation, or I will make a proclamation, or I will become one who completes a group. And quote within quotes, the return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a monk deserves to be sent back to the beginning. If he should send a messenger to monks saying, quote within quotes, I deserve to be sent back to the beginning, let monks come. I want monks to come. End quote within quotes. You should go, monks. Even if not sent for. 3 dots. If the business, yeah, that's 4 dots. 4 dots, mixing things up. Thank you, Polytech Society. Variety is the spice of life. If the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote within quotes, I will make an effort for sending, parentheses, him, and parentheses, back to the beginning. or I will make a probation, or I will become one who completes a group. And quote unquotes. Now, that whole become one who completes a group, sometimes like in these earlier books, they would talk about violations of the Patimokkha reciting rules and stuff like that, that I'm like, did they cover this, or did I forget? No, we just got to it a couple weeks ago, things I read about years ago. And so maybe this whole become one who completes a group is something we haven't gotten to yet. It seems like, in a way, the scriptures are written for people who've already read the scriptures. So it's interesting reading it for the first time, because it's assumed that you're reading it at least for the second time. Anyway, yes. The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a monk deserves manatta, parentheses, discipline, end parentheses. If he should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, I desire manatta, end parentheses, discipline, end parentheses, an odd choice of words, Madame Horner, the translator. He desires discipline. I think that's one of the other Shramana sects that he should have joined instead. The masochist order of... Sorry. Let the monks come. I want the monks to come. And, quote within quotes, you should go, monks. Even if not sent for. All the more if sent for. If the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote within quotes, I will make an effort for inflicting manatta. I don't know if they've explained what that entails. Something you inflict. I hope they explain it later. It sounds like fun. Manatta discipline, parentheses, on him, end parentheses, or I will make a proclamation, or I will become one who completes a group. End quote within quotes. The return should be made in 7 days. Comment below if you have some insight on what exactly it means to inflict manatta on someone. It's probably something boring, like telling them they're not allowed to, enter the boundary of the group until something. We'll see. One day. This is a case, monks, where a monk deserves rehabilitation. If he should send a messenger, 3 dots, thinking, quote in quotes, I will make an effort for parentheses, his end parentheses, rehabilitation, or I will make a proclamation, or I will become one who completes a group, and quote in quotes, the return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where an order becomes desirous of carrying out a parentheses, formal, end parentheses, act against a monk, either one of censure or one of guidance. You hear that? Whenever I hear that, I always say the soup is grouchy, because it's the steam coming out. Never mind. It's usually rice or something, but still. It's just... Okay. Carrying out a parentheses, formal end parentheses, act against a monk, either one of censure or one of guidance or one of banishment, or one of reconciliation, or one of suspension. If he should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, the order desires to carry out a parentheses, formal, end parentheses, act against me. Let monks come. I want monks to come. And, quote within quotes, you should go. 3 dots. If the return can be made in 7 days, thinking, quote within quotes, how then may the order not carry out a formal, what? How then may the order not carry out a parentheses, formal, end parentheses, act, or may change it to something lighter? Because it's raining, perhaps. Interesting. And quote within quotes, the return should be made in 7 days. That's interesting. It's interesting that it doesn't explain, perhaps in a decade when we start reading the commentaries of the Theravadan scholar monks from 1200 years after these rules were established. Maybe they have some explanations. Maybe, of course, these days, that's the thing, is I'm doing this on my own, directly from the text. Some people might say, don't do that. I'm doing it on purpose so that I can be confused, so that I can wonder, so that I can one day work it out, so that I can see what it feels like to not have the explanations just spoon-fed to me. See what I'm saying? Never mind. The point is, that's interesting. So if a monk does something really naughty, and they need to have a formal meeting, and they need to do formal acts against the monk, try to see if there's a way that you can be like, well, did you mean to? Did you really mean to intentionally emit the substance from your body? Was there a king with a gun to your head saying, intentionally emit semen from your body? Oh, if there was, then there's no offense. No offense. You know. For instance, random example, to try to make it so they don't have to have a formal meeting in the middle of the rains. All right. Okay. Or, okay. The next paragraph starts with a capital O. Or a parentheses formal end parentheses act comes to be carried out against him by the order, either one of censure, 3 dots, or one of suspension. If he should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, the order carried out, a parentheses formal end parentheses act against me, 3 dots, I want monks to come. Don't we all? End quote unquotes, you should go, monks, 4 dots, thinking, quote unquotes, how then may he conduct himself properly, be subdued, mend his ways, parentheses, so that, end parentheses, the order can revoke that, parentheses, formal, end parentheses, act. End quote unquotes, the return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a nun comes to be ill, 3 dots, it's all the same as when it was a monk who became ill. In parentheses, it says that. I assume it actually says equals I 6.2 end parentheses. But in the context, I think it means it's all the same stuff. 3 dots. Where dissatisfaction comes to have arisen in a nun, 3 dots, same stuff, parentheses, end parentheses. 3 dots. Where a wrong view comes to have arisen in a nun, 3 dots, same as when it was a monk. 3 dots. Pali Society doesn't want to be bothered to write it all out again for the nuns. They already wrote it out for the monks, right? Yeah, it's the same stuff. Just substitute the word nun instead of monks. Although I would like to hear them repeatedly say, I want the nuns to come. But sadly, that's all in the 3 dots. Okay, anyway, 3 dots. Where a nun comes to have committed an offense against an important rule and to deserve manatta, end parentheses, discipline, end parentheses. If she should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, I have committed an offense against an important rule and deserve manatta, parentheses, discipline, end parentheses. Let the masters come. I want the masters to come. Oh, there it is. So it's not the nuns, it's the masters. And quote unquotes, you should go, monks. The monks do the disciplining of the nuns. That's a whole different thing to visualize for you. I wonder, again, what that entails. I'm sure it's boring, but until I find out for sure, it's potentially not boring. But it probably is. Okay. You should go, monks, even if not sent for, all the more if sent for, and if the business can be done in 7 days. Thinking, quote and quotes, I will make an effort for inflicting manatta, parentheses, discipline, end parentheses, on her. End quote and quotes. The return should be made in 7 days. 7 days of discipline. This is a case, monks, where a nun deserves to be sent back to the beginning. If she should send a messenger, 3 dots, parentheses, a bunch of gibberish, end parentheses, 3 dots, thinking, quote and quotes, I will make an effort for sending, parentheses, her, end parentheses, back to the beginning, end quote and quotes. The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a nun deserves rehabilitation, 3 dots, parentheses, a bunch of gibberish from the Pali Text Society, end parentheses, 3 dots. Thinking, quote and quotes, I will make an effort for, parentheses, her, end parentheses, rehabilitation, end quote and quotes. The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where an order becomes desirous of carrying out a, parentheses, formal, end parentheses, act against a nun, either one of censure, 3 dots, or one of suspension, 3 dots, parentheses, a bunch of gibberish, and parentheses, 3 dots. The return should be made in 7 days. A bunch of gibberish means it's copy-paste from when it was a monk. Or a, parentheses, formal, end parentheses, act comes to be carried out against her by an order, either one of censure, 3 dots, or one of suspension, 3 dots, parentheses, bunch of gibberish, end parentheses, 3 dots. The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a probationer comes to be ill, 3 dots, bunch of gibberish, in parentheses, 3 dots, in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where dissatisfaction comes to have arisen in a probationer, 3 dots. Where remorse comes to have arisen in a probationer, 3 dots. Where a wrong view comes to have arisen in a probationer, 3 dots. It's all the same as when it was a monk or when it was a nun. Now it's a probationer. They keep writing these long things that are just basically repeated from before. I'm tired of it, says the translator. Where a probationer's training comes to be interrupted, and parentheses, if she, probationer's female. Oh, probationer, that's a nun has to abide by, I think, the 10 rules for 2 years before she can be a nun. So probationer is specifically a nun in training. Okay. Where was I? If she should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, my training is interrupted, let the masters come. I want the masters to come. That probably means she broke one of the 10 rules. And she has to start over, depending on how severe the case is. And quote unquote, you should go, monks, even if not asked for, all the more if sent for. And if the business can be done in 7 days, thinking, quote unquote, I will make an effort for her to undertake the training, and quote unquote, the return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a probationer becomes desirous of being ordained. The 2 years is up, happens to be in the middle of the rains. She kept all the rules for 2 years. It's time to become a nun. I know it's raining, but come on, guys. It's time for my ordination, she says, in other words. If she should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, I am desirous of being ordained, 3 dots, I want the masters to come. And quote unquote, you should go, monks. That'd be my advice too. Sorry. Thinking, quote unquote, either I will make an effort for her ordination, or I will make a proclamation, or I will become one who completes a group. End quote and quotes. The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a novice becomes ill, 3 dots, parentheses, gibberish, and parentheses, 3 dots. The return should be made in 7 days. 3 dots, where dissatisfaction, 3 dots, where remorse, 3 dots, where a wrong view comes to have arisen in a novice, 3 dots. Where a novice becomes desirous of asking about his year's standing. I don't recall the novice situation enough to know exactly what that's referring to. If he should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, I am desirous of asking about my year's standing, I want monks to come. And quote unquote, you should go, thinking, quote unquote, I will ask or I will explain. And quote unquote, the return should be made in 7 days. Where a novice becomes desirous of being ordained, parentheses gibberish, and parentheses Aren't you glad you took the time to watch me say all this? The return should be made in 7 days. This is a case, monks, where a woman novice comes to be ill, parentheses gibberish, and parentheses The return should be made in 7 days. Where dissatisfaction. Where remorse. Where a wrong view comes to have arisen in a woman novice. Where a woman novice becomes desirous of asking about her year's standing. Parentheses gibberish and parentheses The return should be made in 7 days. Where a woman novice becomes desirous of undertaking the training. I think that's where she becomes a probationer. If she should send a messenger to monks saying, quote unquote, now I am desirous of undertaking the training, let the masters come. I want the masters to come. And quote unquote, you should go, monks, even if not sent for. All the more if sent for, and if the business can be done in 7 days. Thinking, quote unquote, I will make an effort for her to acquire the training. And quote unquote, the return should be made in 7 days. Well, that was fun, I think. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that my little asides and, distracting comments weren't too distracting from the text. Not that the text was particularly like, oh, what great wisdom of that is going to illuminate me upon my path. So really, I think that a little bit of comic relief is beneficial for something so dry, legalistic, and historical, but it is pre-sectarian early Buddhist scripture, and that's why we love it, even when it's boring. By we, I mean me. Possibly you? I don't know. I can't speak for you. I don't even know who you are. I hope you're doing well, and feel free to interact with this video with a like and subscribe. And if you're on a computer specifically, then you might have noticed something new. I decided to add the watermark. If you're on a phone, then you have no idea what I'm talking about, but it's okay. Okay, thank you for joining me, and especially for still being here, even though this is the end and I'm just saying nothing at this point, and you know the prayer I'm going to do. But I'm going to do the prayer. So here we go. To the north and to the south, to the east and to the west, to the spirits of light among us and to the spirits below, we send out our reverent love and compassion. May all beings be happy. May all beings be serene. May all beings be in peace. Om.